Hello, welcome to West Ham Grumble on Hines United with me, Av Gasparo. So what a week it's been in the West Ham world. We had a couple of injuries, Anderson and Haller, so they couldn't make the Brighton game, 5 changes and all. And we went down to the Amex Stadium on Saturday afternoon and lucky to get away with a draw. You know, it's probably an unfair result actually in the end. The chances they had, the domination they had, the more creativity they had. We took the lead with Hernandez. They came back with their goal, both well taken goals, you say. Good movement from Hernandez, and Lanzini sort of came into the game after the substitution. We brought Antonio on, so it all kind of started to work just a little bit better up front. But all in all, we were just poor, I thought. Anyway, we just lacked a lot of confidence in defence. You know, we just, again, making so many mistakes. Masuaku, again, was making some, woeful clearances. But then Diop and Ogbonna, they had some good spells, but they also had some really poor spells as well. Fredericks just on the right-hand side seemed to be, all over the place. It was Fornals as well. Fornals, where was he? He just hasn't... We hoped that Fornals would be great. He was working wonders for Spain in the summer. But he just hasn't done it for us so far. So, he's still got a long way to go to get there. Rice was in and out as well. He had a good opportunity in the first half, but skied it, really. I mean, you can't really, blame him for that, but, it was a good opportunity on goal. And that was our only opportunity on goal pretty much in the first half. And that's where I want to take this grumble. I want to take it to possession football, and I want to take it to the way we're playing and the way we're moving forward. Now, I think on my last grumble, somebody commented on the amount of possession that we had. Actually, it wasn't too far off, 50-50. I think, I haven't looked at the stats now, but Brighton seemed to have a lot more of it. And certainly they had a lot better of it in the opposition half, in our half, as we had more so than we had in their half. We had more possession in our half. We were playing it out of defence at times onto the wings, sort of left side, right side sometimes. Bit of neat interchange of play occasionally. Wilshere, I thought, was just not at the races either. He just didn't really... Well, let's put it this way. He wasn't having a lot of success out there. They were more physical. They were more creative. They were hungrier for the ball. We were kind of content just to keep on passing it around, looking for that killer pass. But that killer pass never came. That thread, thread in the needle type of ball, never came. We were kind of moving into their half, and then we would lose possession, or he'd go out to the wings and there wasn't a cross come in. I don't think I saw a cross come in for the first half, at least for the first half. Now, you could argue that maybe that's not the right tactics, because Pellegrini went with Hernandez, up top by himself in the first half. And he's playing two-man mountains in their defence. So, it's the wrong decision to go for crosses. But then the other tactic was to play possession football and work the ball into positions just to feed in. Hernandez didn't work either. In fact, there was nothing there. Second half, Antonio came on. It had a little bit of extra zip, provided a foil, you could say, for Hernandez. And look, that well-worked goal in the 60th minute, whatever it was, he took it well. But again, our defending for the second goal, for their goal, the second goal of the game, I should say, it was just poor. It was just poor, and, they scored it. And if it wasn't for Fabianski, again, especially in the first half, it could have been 4 or 5-0, and it probably should have been in many ways. This grumble could be a scathing attack on Pellegrini's tactics, on his starting 11. It could be a scathing attack on our defence, on our midfield, on our in our ability to actually move the ball forward, get into final third, get crosses in, get shots on goal. How many shots on goal do we get? This is, it could be one of those grumbles, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to give you a concern, a big concern now. And that concern is our ability to have shots on goal. I'm not even talking about scoring here, just have shots on goal. Because the other massive concern is obviously our inability to defend very well and our lacking in confidence all across the back. If it wasn't for Fabianski, as I say, it could have been a lot worse. We've got the players there. Lanzini grew into the game, and again, he was probably our best player again. He was growing into the, and he had a better second half as well. Again, because the tactic of the formation changed a little bit, and I think this is where we as a fan base, but as a club, but also certainly the players and management, Pellegrini, we need to start really looking at the type of play that we're trying to achieve, and can we achieve it with the players that we've got. This kind of possession football, which isn't really possession football, it's only possession football in our own half. As soon as we cross the halfway line, it kind of breaks down really quickly. There isn't that swagger, there isn't that confidence to, keep the possession football going, keep those passes going. It breaks down really quickly. So what does that come down to? Does that come down to personnel? Does that come down to, having players in their wrong position? Correct me if I'm wrong. Leave loads of comments below. But, why am I watching Snodgrass on the right-hand side? This is Bilic kind of era. This is kind of Bilic, having Snodgrass on the wrong area of the pitch. Because we're accommodating another player and we're putting him in the wrong position, in my opinion. But he was still able to get a couple of balls in. But just put him out on the left. If we're gonna do that, put him out on the left. But it wasn't working, I didn't think. Because all you're gonna have is gonna come in and he's gonna cut back in on his left-hand side as well if he needs to. Yeah, he can play with his right, but let's face it, that's where we want him to be. I don't know. Again, disappointing. Again, we should be thankful at least that we got a point. And we've got a point on the board. Hernandez scored. It wasn't a cricket score, but it could have been. They were a lot better than us all over. And this is Brighton, yes, and we haven't had a great, record against them going down there, especially the last season, I think it was. And it's just been poor. Another poor opening. Yes, it's not as bad as last season. Yes, we've got a point on the board. But, Pellegrini sometimes looks a little bit lost to me out there. It's as if there isn't enough energy from him that actually, translates or is transferred over to the players. It's almost like he is the thinking man, the thinking manager, and it's almost like he's sending out messages telepathically, but there's a brick wall there and nothing's getting through, and he can't find another way to get his message across. I don't know. There's a lack of balance. There's a lack of cohesiveness about our play. There's a lacking in confidence at the back. We haven't got it right at the back. Definitely not. Masuaku can have, some great 5 minutes, but can have a woeful 5 minutes. Both him and Creswell can have a great game, can have a terrible game. Same with, Fredericks on the side. Same with if we had Zabaleta. In the middle, Diop, Balbuena, Ogbonna. They can all have great games, but they can also have woeful games. In midfield, we're all over the place. People were saying, "Oh, we really missed Anderson." Well, sometimes, we got Anderson there, and like in the last game against Man City, You know, he was having a little bit of creativity. Then he'd lose the ball, and he didn't do anything about it. Well, that's not the kind of player that you want, especially in a game like, say, like Brighton, where you need a bit of, you know, muck and muscle sometimes. They bullied us off the ball. They bullied us out of their defence, and we were boys against men sometimes. It was unfortunate because, you know, if you look at the way we played, there is the green shoot, if you like. There is the germ of good football. You can see that we are passing the ball and we are looking at possession football by good, quick passing. But it's not quite working because there is a mistake, there's an error, a wayward pass, and that's it. How many wayward passes were there in that game? So many. I lost count in the first half how many wayward passes there were. Now, you know, we always say that in the Premier League there's no easy game. Do you know what? We're making it a lot harder for ourselves by this inattention to detail, to actually, you know, keeping that possession, playing with pace, with power, team selection that doesn't seem to quite match the opposition. And it's a concern because we thought that we could score more goals, but we're not. We are definitely not moving on. Definitely not moving on from last season where we were really, well, this season where we were really struggling to score goals. We are going to struggle to score goals if we continue in this way. So there's a lot of work for Pellegrini. No, we got Watford next. They've come off 2 defeats. You know, that's not going to be an easy game because they're going to want to, you know, come at us and get some kind of result. I think when we're looking at our team now, I'd be very surprised if we get anything out of Watford, actually. I think we're going to look at the, you know, into the tail end of September, and I think if we've got a win and a couple of draws, I think we'd be doing quite well. I think, you know, if we get 5 points by the end of September, we're looking well. Because it just isn't there right now. It just isn't there. Let's not forget, we've got Watford, then we've got Norwich, and then we've got Man United. Well, Norwich, you know, if there is a team to look at right now, it's Norwich City. You know, look at the way they've, you know, gone into their market. Look at the way they're playing football. Look at the way they've got a striker in there who scored 30-odd goals, over 30 goals last season in the Championship, and he's hit the ground running with 4 goals already. You know, he got a hat-trick at the weekend. You know, these are the kind of players that not only we should be looking at, the proven goal scorers that are hungry, that just want to score, want to play, but these are the kind of players that we should be playing to their strengths as well. Now, we don't always play to our players' strengths. And we try and adopt this new way of playing, but we don't necessarily have the players to play that way. Big changes, lots of work to do. Pellegrini's got a big head. He's going to have to do a lot more thinking on the side there, on the sidelines. And have to work a lot more in training. Look, it wasn't a total disaster. We were lucky to get away with it. It was a well-earned point, let's put it that way. And well done to the lads for getting a point, because it could have easily been a loss. Well done for taking the lead. Well done for almost, you know, snatching it. Stealing the game. Nearly stealing the game right at the end with a Snodgrass shot. You know, you can see I'm trying to be positive here, but it's difficult to be positive when we've had not really dire performances, but what we've had is ineffective performances, ineffective play, especially crossing the halfway line and going forward. Long way to go. Anyway, look, let's see what happens in the next game. Hopefully, you know, we can get Haller and Anderson back. I'd like to see more of Yarmolenko. I'd like to see us change this up a little bit, probably with the formation. You know, I think whatever it is, I think our formation at the back isn't quite working either. I would like to either keep the 4 at the back, bolster, you know, 5 in midfield, but have forward running midfield, so that we're almost playing 4-4-2, but we're actually playing 4-5-1 with strong forward runners that would support Hernandez if he's playing up there alone. We need to do something. You know, it could be reverting to a 3-5, you know, 2. You know, it could be something like that. It might have to be a 3-6-1, whatever. Does that work? Yeah, there's my maths. Yeah, that works. You know, so we're packing out midfield and we're, you know, keeping our defence protected, but we're stopping opposition play, but we're also able to go forward in numbers. Counter-attacking play. You know, taking the game to them. You know, being hungry, pressing down early. You know, we were kind of doing little bits of that. Perhaps they saw my grumble for last week about closing down early, about closing down the keeper. I saw a little bit of that in the first half. We need a lot more of it. Get players in their right position, play to their absolute strengths. And if we're using Snodgrass, who can make good deliveries, get him in a position where he can have good deliveries. Get Lanzini, you know, more into the game. Give him the freedom to be expansive and to control the game. Fornals doesn't seem quite the races, but he'll grow into it. Anderson when he comes back as well. Wilshere, yeah, you know, we can't always expect, you know, to have a dominant game, but we need also, you know, our captain to be there. We need our characters like that who may not have the skills, he may not have the abilities of other players, of younger players, but they have the attitude, the aptitude for these kind of games. We need that. We need that with those kind of players. We can't rely on our, you know, a team full of skillful players. We need a good balance in our team of skill, of creativity, of muscle. Look at all the best teams ever. They're not made up of, you know, all great players, because when they are, they usually aren't that good. Okay, if you look at Real Madrid, the Galacticos, right? They should have been so much better than they were, but they weren't because there wasn't the right balance there. You know, we are not Real Madrid, we are not Galacticos, of course, but we have a similar kind of imbalance in our team, in quality. We're trying to up the quality because that's what us fans want. We want better quality players. We want to be playing better football, but we don't have that balance. We don't have a strong spine. And that's where we're lacking, and that's where Pellegrini needs to look at his squad now and see, can I fashion something out of this squad? Can I last until, you know, January transfer window, maybe get somebody in then? You know, get the scouts up there now. We need a bit of strength in our side. We need a left back. We need to bolster our defence. Look at right back as well. Maybe bring on, you know, these, you know, from the under-23s. Let's really push in some of these players into the first team training squad. At least get them all together. You know, make them hungry for places. Don't let any players rest on their laurels. You know, this is not a criticism of our players now, but this is about having extra competition in the team. It could have been better. We were lucky to get away with it. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Am I talking bollocks? You know, let me know if I'm talking bollocks, because I'd appreciate it if if you can tell me I'm wrong. But if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hand up. But I don't think I am. I just don't think I am. Which is strange for me, because I usually am wrong. But not in this case. Right. That's been the West Ham Grumble this week. a lucky escape at Brighton, I would say. On to the next match. I'm not hopeful, but onwards and upwards. Check out the website, Irons United, and leave loads of comments. Please subscribe to the channel and like, share, and all that kind of stuff. And I'll catch you next week after the next day. Ta-da!